One, two, three, check. This is Motivated Painters once again. I warn you, this video is long, but I am hoping that you will learn something valuable. This was my first RR job, big one, that I had to do so far. We don't get many Fords around, but when we do, they happen to be some special colors, like this one. So. First things first, you want to wash off the car very well. You want to make sure that everything is washed, everything is dried. As you can see, I cleaned my paper. I always do that. It's a good habit to have. If you're going to have habits, clean your paper very well, because if there's going to be any dirt, there's going to be some there as well. So you want to make sure that you're cleaning it and you're also drying it. So it's gonna make a huge difference if you do that. If you just clean the paper a little bit, I'm telling you, it would help you out. Hey, if it's a first time here, this is probably not the best video to start with. This is my longest video that I have done to date. So I would say look through my playlist, look through the Motivated Painters playlist, and see what you like. This is a 26 minute video or something like that, but if you hang around during the end, I might give a little surprise. So anyways, if you are here, if you're watching this, I want to say that I am very grateful for you. I am so grateful that you would hang out, and that you would just be in the booth with me. I appreciate it. Sometimes it gets lonely in there, but when I think of my audience, that is you guys, my amazing audience, I feel at home that you guys are watching with me and you guys are there, cheerleading with what I'm doing. So that is awesome. And well, I didn't call you a cheerleader. I'm sorry. But if you are a cheerleader, no offense. But anyways, I had to mix a little bit of G6 base for this because I noticed that it needed it, because I think the prepper used SG05 on this particular color, and I knew that I was gonna have problems with coverage. So as you can see, I'm putting that base everywhere that it's gonna touch with the bumper. I'm putting it with the car as well, because I want it to be uniform and I want it to be the same, right? So it only makes sense to do the same thing on both panels, right? And this is SG06 with a little bit extra black in it. So this, I mixed it as a base coat. So this is not sealer, this is a base coat. So it's the sealer color, but I mixed it on a base coat. And I can show you how to do that. It's very easy. You go on the computer and you go into the color. So you go into formulas, and then you type in G6 or G7 or whatever you need, and then you go to where it says gray, spectral gray, I believe it is. But yeah, so that's the way that is, and it works out really well when you have stuff like this and you need to put the right color on there, and it works out really well. And there's no overspray as much as there would be if there was sealer. So I put that on just kind of like an insurance, because I've had way too many times that I screw up a color because I don't put the right color underneath it or something like that. So it's a very good thing to do when you're doing like this kind of like difficult colors. So I'm doing a spray coat as well, and I'm making sure that I'm putting the same stuff that I'm putting on the car. So I speed this up because I want to save you some time. If you want longer videos, let me know, but I want to try to save you some time and not make such long videos, because I know everybody's got families and everybody's busy and everybody's got their whole things to do and stuff like that. So I'm putting, as you can tell, I'm putting it on like pretty heavy. Now that I put one coat of base on there, I am able to put it on a little bit more heavier on my first coat of this red, which is the first step. So the base coat, and then after that we're going to apply the tinted clear. But for now, obviously, I'm going to do the first coat. Now, as you can see, I'm covering the whole entire trunk lid, right? Because I don't want to be fooling around with the overspray of base there or anything like that. So I'm just completely flat out putting color on the whole entire thing, and that way it could be uniform. And I'm also gonna color the whole entire side because it's going to be the same, it's going to lay out the same, it's all gonna look one color, it's gonna be beautiful, right? So, which is one of the biggest reasons why you want to put the right color underneath. And also, one thing that some people don't know, but most people do know, but trying to cover as sand, so say you have a spot of primer, trying to cover that spot of primer that has been sanded, that takes longer to cover because of the edge that the primer leaves once you sand it. I'm trying to talk slow because I get all fired up and I get passionate, so I start talking really fast. So I'm hoping I can slow myself down and I could explain things better. Although a few people have told me that I explain things pretty well, and that makes me very happy. So like I was saying, it takes maybe an extra 3 minutes to mix the right color and spray on top of that primer, right? Even if, so say you have a spot with SG06, and even if you mix up a little bit of SG06 base coat and you spray it over, right? The edge that you sprayed over that primer spot is gonna be much easier to cover than an actual primer edge that has been sanded. So that is very important. So I gave this a 5-minute bake because I wanted the base to be very dry, because I knew that I was gonna put on quite a bit of base on this vehicle. So you want to make sure that you're going to put enough base, and because of that, you want to make sure that you're drying it well enough. It's just like a tri-coat, really. You need to make sure that you are drying it properly. So I'm putting my second coat of the base coat, and I'm going to put it on just a little bit, not as heavy as the first coat, but maybe just as heavy. And just to make sure I get some good coverage on there. And for this, I only put 2 coats and a control coat. So I put 2 coats of base and then a control coat of the base, just to make sure that all the metallics are laid down properly. Because this color, what you're seeing there, is the actual color with the metallics, right? But what it doesn't have is that candy on top, which is what we're gonna apply next. So as you can tell, I'm trying to keep it even. You want to make sure that you are trying to be a robot as much as you possibly can, because you want to make sure that everything looks the same, everything looks uniform, everything looks consistent. That is the name of this game, is consistency. So you want to make sure that whenever you're spraying something, make sure that your wrist is aligned with the vehicle. Sometimes you need to flick the wrist, but for the most part, you want to make sure that you are keeping your wrist at the same distance of the vehicle, and that way you won't have any parts that are uneven. Now we're going to take you to the booth. We got a little tip in the booth. Lights are off so we can see better and we can tell if there's coverage or not. Still wet, but you can still see it's still a little bit wet. But see how because I put that gray ground as with the base coat, it was all very easy to cover. I covered it in 2 coats, so I will probably do a drop coat after this. So I've applied the tinted clear on this. I put 1 coat as normally as I would apply my clear. And what I also did is I also put a drop coat off the base. So it would be the same thing as a car. Two normal medium wet coats and a drop coat. So we'll see how this looks over here. And if it looks good, then I'll do exactly the same thing on the car, and then we're good to go. So it does look it looks a little lighter, but I think it'll be fine. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna put another coat of the pearl, of the tinted clear, to see what happens. So I put a second coat of the pearl, and it looks better. Looks much better. You probably won't be able to tell on the camera. It probably looks messed up, but it's still a little lighter, but I think it'll be fine. The tinted clear gives it like a darker hue, which is what you want for this color. So the face looks a little lighter, and then the on the side it looks pretty good. So I think that'll do. This hood's pretty scratched, not even that shiny, so it's kind of hard to tell. So I grabbed some compound and I polished it a little bit here, and it looks pretty good. I'm very happy with it. You always want to try to, when you're going to match a color, get a microfiber cloth and just rub a spot so you can get an accurate color match. Because if you're going to try to color match an oxidized paint job or clear that's been scratched and stuff like that, you're not going to get a very good match. And that's why I polished this spot on the hood, so I could get a better idea of where the color was standing and where the color was holding up and how it was looking. So I'm putting on another coat on now, because I noticed it was covered, but it wasn't covered to my satisfaction, so I wanted to make sure that it had the right proper coverage on there. And I understand that sometimes you don't need coverage, you need hiding, but I don't want my vehicle to be outside in the sun and the customer saying, "Oh, what's those spots on the car?" And I'm gonna say, "Well, sir, it's just the primer showing through, and that's just the way that it is, because we're trying to achieve hiding, not coverage." And I'm sure the customer will appreciate that, right? I don't think so. So in this particular case, I wanted to make sure I get some coverage on there, because I wanted it all to look even. I wanted it all to look consistent. Those are words that I use all the time. Consistent, even, and nice. I say nice a lot for some reason. Apparently, a coat of nice clear is a very technical term that, it's just the way it is. So I checked for coverage with the lights off, as you could tell, and everything was everything was good. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you other than it's crazy how I didn't knock those rockers off. It's unbelievable. So anyways, one thing I do want to tell you is that if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. I would really appreciate it. It would be awesome to see you there. It would be awesome for you to say hi. And there's some really cool stuff that I'm doing there. I'm going to be doing some giveaways on Instagram as well. And also keep an eye out for some live videos that I'm going to be doing here on the YouTube channel. And if you are new here, get to know me a little bit. I'm going to, somewhere here, I'm going to put the Get to Know Me playlist. Get to know me, get to know why I do this, and all that. And I'm hoping that these videos are adding value to some people. I know that some people have really appreciated the videos and have sent me emails and videos and stuff like that, and I really appreciate that, guys, because that keeps me going. Like, that keeps me motivated to keep motivating you. So it's just a circle of life. So I'm putting on the coat of candy right now. So this stuff is you mix up your regular clear, and then you add whatever the computer says to the clear coat. You add I forget what the number is, but it's a vibrance toner, and it's just a couple drops. Stuff stinks, but it's pretty good. So you put this on like if it was regular clear, and I checked the color like I showed you with the sprayer card. I put on a coat, I checked the color, I put another coat, and I checked the color, and I went with 2 coats of this because it needed to change a little bit, and by putting another coat, it changed the way that I needed it to change. So that was good. So as you can tell, I'm putting it on like it was clear. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit more material on this vehicle, and if you look at, I mean, most Mustangs, they are super orange peely because they have to put so much material on them. But this job came out really beautiful. I was so happy with it. I wasn't happy in the fact that we had to butt match the hood, but it turned out very good, and the customer was super happy with it. And like the old saying goes, don't use is good news. So I'm spraying with an iwata WS400, and that is my favorite gun for clear, and that's why I'm using it for this. I know it's tinted clear, but it's still clear, so I'm using my clear gun. But it's a WS400 13 HD, so that means it's got a 1.3 equivalent cap and nozzle set on that, and I'm spraying at about 35 psi. And as you could, like I've been telling you guys about that sweet spot, you want to make sure that you're not too far and you're not too close, because if you're too far, then you're gonna get really dry spray, and you're also not getting the right automation from the gun. So, and if you're too close, you're gonna have a lot of buildups, a lot of runs, a lot of headaches, and you won't ever want to paint again. I've been there and done that. So look at those moves. I'm like a ninja in there. Oh my goodness. So yeah, you gotta make sure always that you are making sure that, wow, I said making sure a lot, that you can stay the same distance from the panel, whatever you're painting, because that way you're gonna assure that you're getting everything consistent, and that is the key right there, being consistent. Anything that is consistent is fixable because you've been doing the same thing. So if you're consistent in everything that you do and something goes wrong, you know exactly what you did to fix it, and to you know exactly what you have to do to fix it by going back and seeing, okay, I'm always do this, I always do that, I always do this, I always do that. So you can have a way of fixing it because of your consistency, right? And then if you're consistently screwing up, then you need to do something different, right? So, and you try, when you're fixing things, try to change one thing at a time. Don't try to change like 6 things at a time, because you, first of all, you won't know what the problem was. You might have an idea of what the problem was, but at the same time you won't know what the problem was because you switched too many things at once. So therefore you can't really know what the problem was. Instead, if you switch one thing at a time and you do a process of elimination, then you'll be able to know how you how best to fix a problem. You do one thing at a time, you change it a little bit, and then just like a color, if a color doesn't match, I'm not going to say, okay, change every toner in the color. I'm going to add a drop of something and check it, and then I'm going to add another drop of something and check it. So it's one thing at a time, little steps that get you the success that you want. So this is my second coat of the tinted clear, and I'm putting 2 medium wet coats on, and then after that, you don't have to do what I did. I don't even know if PPG recommends it. By the way, none of these videos are sponsored by PPG. None of these videos are anything, I mean, related to PPG. That's just the paint I use. And if my shop tomorrow decides to switch to Sherwin-Williams or DuPont or whatever it is, then that's what I'll be spraying, and that's what I'll be making videos on, because it'll be a learning curve for me anyway. So yeah, like I was saying, I put 2 coats of that and then 1 coat of regular clear, because I didn't want to, I kind of wanted to seal it. I kind of wanted the everything to be uniform, and if I go and I try polishing some of the spots that has the tinted clear, then I might have, you know, burned through or made it look a little bit lighter because there's less tinted clear on there. So I just wanted to put one coat of the normal clear on there on top, so I could, you know, run away from problems and not have to deal with stuff that I don't want to have to deal with. So that's the way that I've done it. Everything that you guys see in my videos, I want to give you a little disclaimer. It's just stuff that I've done and that have worked for me. So if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. Remember that. I will always show you what works for me, what I've done, and I've had good results with. So, I mean, all these videos are for you to see what someone else is doing and hopefully get some value out of it and learn something new. So, that's why I make these videos, to try to do my best to help people. Ever since I was a young boy, I've always said I want to help people, I want to help people, I want to help people, and always said that to everybody I met. And finally, I have an outlet to help some people with, you know, with what I do, what I try to do the best I can, and that's painting. So I hope that, you know, this videos are helpful to you. And if you made it this far, congratulations. You've been watching this for 21 minutes and 23 seconds. And I am so grateful for that. And for me to realize that you're here watching me paint and you want to learn, that makes me so happy, because that means I'm doing something right and I'm trying to do my best with everything I do. So that's why, like, I get a little bit upset when people complain about what, you know, if I put like a time-lapse video or something like that. You know, if you don't like it, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have fun with this, and unfortunately that means I will not please everybody. Okay, so I lost a subscriber the other day because I didn't answer the question the way that he was expecting me to answer the question. And hey, I can't please everybody, and I will not stress about it, because then that's gonna hurt my quality when it comes to even my job. So I want to make sure that I'm trying to do the best I can for you guys and also for myself, because at the end of the day, maybe you think, I don't know what you think, but there is a human being to this voice that you're listening right now, and you know, I wanna be able to help people and as much as I can. So if you have nothing good to say, nothing nice to say, then, you know, unsubscribe and go somewhere else, because I have enough things to do, and we all have enough things to do than to look at your negative comments. So and you know, if you can unsubscribe and go on your merry way, and we'll be better for it, including yourself, because you don't want to be watching this and being stressed out that I'm doing something wrong and, oh, you know, whatever. So anyways, guys, I am so grateful that you watched this far. If you watched this far, I want you to comment below and then send me an email telling me that you watched this far, and I have a gift for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be a gift, a little gift, nothing crazy, but I want to show my appreciation for you if you watched this far. So if you watched this far, please send me an email. I want to know, hey, this is the way that it looked, turned out beautiful, and my email is on the description. So yeah, I was very happy with this car, and I have nothing else to say but thank you, thank you, thank you. See you next time. God bless. Take care. We out.